Picture this. It's Friday night, 1985. You've got a pocket full of quarters, your best friend riding shotgun, and the entire weekend stretching out in front of you like an open highway. No phones to check, no social media to update, just pure, unfiltered teenage freedom. Want to know what it really felt like? Being a teenager in 1980s Canada wasn't just about the music, the movies, or the fashion, though all of that was incredible. It was about a kind of freedom that doesn't exist anymore. The freedom to disappear for hours without anyone panicking. The freedom to make mistakes without them being documented forever online. The freedom to just be a kid figuring things out, one cassette, tape, and one Friday night at a time. This was the decade of much music and blue rodeo, of mall culture and arcade games, of house parties when someone's parents went away for the weekend, of driving around aimlessly because gas was cheap and time was endless, of first jobs at McDonald's or the video store, of first loves, first heartbreaks, and first tastes of independence. The 1980s gave Canadian teenagers something special. A world that was modern enough to be exciting, but analog enough to be real. You had to actually show up to see your friends. You had to actually call someone's house and talk to their parents first. You had to actually go to the record store to discover new music. And all of that effort made everything more meaningful. In this video, we're going to walk through what life was actually like as a Canadian teenager in the 1980s. From the music that defined us to the places we hung out to, the rituals that shaped our days. Some of this will make you smile. Some of it will make you wish you could go back, even just for one more Friday night. Before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe. We've got a lot of memories to unlock, and trust me, every single one is worth revisiting. Let's go back to when being a teenager actually meant something. Point 1. Music, the soundtrack of your life. Music in the 1980s wasn't background noise. It was everything. You'd spend hours making the perfect mixtape, recording songs off the radio, timing it just right so you didn't catch the DJ talking over the intro. You'd write the track list on the cassette case in your best handwriting, maybe add some artwork if you were giving it to someone special. Much music launched in 1984. And suddenly, Canadian teenagers had their own MTV. You'd rush home after school to catch video hits with Samantha Taylor or the Power Hour with Steve Anthony. You'd watch the same videos over and over: Platinum Blonde, Glass Tiger, Corey Hart wearing his sunglasses at night, Bryan Adams singing about the summer of '69. Canadian content regulations meant we actually heard our own artists. The tragically hip were just getting started, playing small clubs in Kingston. Blue Rodeo released their first album in 1987, and suddenly there was a sound that felt distinctly Canadian roots, rock with heart and soul. But you also had everything else: Duran Duran, Depeche Mode, U2, The Cure, Run DMC. The 80s gave you permission to like everything. You could have Def Leppard and the Smiths in the same tape deck. Nobody judged. Going to concerts was a rite of passage. Maple Leaf Gardens, the Forum, the Saddle Dome, Pacific Coliseum. You'd save up for months to buy tickets. You'd wait in line at the box office because there was no Ticketmaster website. And when you finally got to the show, when the lights went down and the band came out, it felt like the most important moment of your entire life. Record stores were sacred spaces. You'd flip through bins of vinyl and cassettes, reading liner notes, studying album covers. The staff knew music and could recommend things you'd never heard of. Discovering a new band felt like finding treasure because you had to work for it. You couldn't just stream everything. You had to commit. And your music collection, that was your identity. People would come over and immediately go to your tapes and records to see what you were into. It told them everything they needed to know about you. Point 2. Friday night rituals. Friday nights had a rhythm, a pattern that every teenager knew by heart. School would end at 3:15. You'd go home, maybe grab something to eat, change out of your school clothes into your going-out clothes. Jeans, a fresh shirt, high tops, or Reeboks. Hair got special attention. Mousse, gel, hairspray. The bigger the hair, the better. Girls teased theirs to impossible heights. Guys worked on their mullets or tried to get that perfect feathered look. By 7 or 8, you'd be out. If you had a car, or more likely if your friend had a car, you'd drive. Just drive. Up and down the main strip, windows down even in winter, stereo cranked, seeing who else was out. You'd cruise past the A&W or the Dairy Queen, see if anyone you knew was there. Maybe stop for fries and gravy. Maybe just keep driving. If there was a party, you'd hear about it through the grapevine. Someone's parents were away. Someone's older brother bought beer. The address would spread through school like wildfire, and by 10 o'clock, there'd be 50 teenagers crammed into a basement, music blasting, everyone trying to look cooler than they felt. House parties were chaotic and perfect. Someone would bring a boombox. Someone else would bring a case of Blue or Canadian. You'd stand around trying to talk over the music, trying to work up the courage to talk to that person you'd been thinking about all week. And when the party got too loud and the neighbors called the cops, everyone would scatter. You'd pile into cars and regroup somewhere else. Maybe the Tim Hortons parking lot. Maybe the lookout point overlooking the city. Anywhere you could keep the night going just a little bit longer. If there wasn't a party, there was always the arcade. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Galaga, Dragon's Lair. You'd pump quarters into machines for hours, trying to beat high scores, trying to impress whoever was watching. Or you'd go to the movies. The cinema was cheap, maybe $5 for a ticket. You'd see whatever was playing. Back to the Future, The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Top Gun. Movies that became part of the cultural language that you'd quote with your friends for years. The night would end late. 1, 2 in the morning. You'd drop everyone off, pull into your driveway, sneak in through the side door, hoping your parents were asleep. And you'd fall into bed exhausted and happy, already thinking about what you'd do tomorrow night. Point 3. School and social hierarchy. High school in the 1980s was its own universe with its own rules. The social hierarchy was real, and everyone knew where they stood. The jocks, the burnouts, the nerds, the preps, the punks. The Breakfast Club wasn't fiction. It was documentary. You'd see the same people every day in the same hallways, the same classrooms, the same cafeteria. There was no escaping anyone. If you had beef with someone, you dealt with it face to face. If you liked someone, you had to actually talk to them, not just slide into their DMs. Lockers were your personal space. You'd decorate the inside with pictures cut from magazines, bands, actors, athletes. You'd tape up notes from friends, concert ticket stubs, anything that mattered. And you'd master the combination lock, spinning it without even looking. Passing notes was an art form. Folded into intricate shapes, passed hand to hand during class, hoping the teacher didn't catch you. The note would make its rounds, everyone adding their commentary, until it came back to you covered in different handwriting and inside jokes. Lunch period was sacred. You'd claim your table in the cafeteria and defend it like territory. You'd eat terrible cafeteria food, mystery meat, soggy fries, pizza that was somehow both burnt and frozen. Or you'd leave campus if you were allowed, hit the convenience store for chips and pop. Gym class was either the best or worst part of your day depending on your athletic ability. Floor hockey, dodgeball, volleyball. The smell of the change room, a mix of sweat, deodorant, and teenage anxiety. The humiliation of being picked last. The glory of making the winning shot. And then there were the dances. School dances in the gym with crepe paper decorations and a DJ playing top 40 hits. Everyone standing around the edges too nervous to actually dance until someone brave made the first move. Slow songs where you'd finally get to hold that person you'd been crushing on, swaying awkwardly while Heaven by Bryan Adams played for the 1,000th time. Point 4. First jobs and earning your own money. Getting your first job was a big deal. It meant independence. It meant money that was yours to spend however you wanted. McDonald's, Burger King, Tim Hortons, retail at the mall, pumping gas at the Petro-Canada, delivering papers before school. These weren't careers, they were stepping stones. But they taught you how to show up on time, how to deal with customers, how to work with people you didn't necessarily like. You'd make minimum wage, maybe $3.50 or $4 an hour. But that was enough. Enough to buy your own clothes, your own music, your own concert tickets. Enough to take someone on a date without asking your parents for money. Enough to feel like an adult, even if you were only 16. The job itself usually sucked, standing for 8 hours, dealing with rude customers, smelling like French fries or gasoline. But your coworkers made it bearable. You'd bond over shared misery, make inside jokes, maybe even date someone from work. And that first paycheck, that feeling of opening the envelope and seeing money you'd earned yourself, that was freedom. That was power. That was the first real taste of independence. You'd cash it at the bank, maybe open your first savings account. Then you'd immediately go spend half of it on something you didn't need but absolutely wanted. A new pair of Nikes, a leather jacket, that album you'd been eyeing for weeks. Point 5. Summer freedom. But if you want to understand what being a teenager in 1980s Canada really felt like, you have to understand summer. The last day of school in June felt like a prison break. 3 months of pure freedom stretched out ahead of you. No homework, no tests, no alarm clocks, just summer. If you were lucky, your family had a cottage. Muskoka, the Kawarthas, the Shoe Swap, the Maritimes. You'd spend weeks there swimming, fishing, water skiing, sitting around bonfires at night. The days blurred together in the best possible way. If you didn't have a cottage, you made do. The local pool or beach, the park, your friend's backyard, anywhere you could escape the heat and kill time. Summer jobs were different than school year jobs. You'd work full-time, save up money for the school year, landscaping, construction, camp counselor, lifeguard. Hard work under the hot sun, but the money was good and the nights were yours. And the nights were everything. Bonfires at the beach, bush parties in the woods, driving around with the windows down and the music up, the smell of sunscreen and bug spray and freedom. Summer romances happened fast and burned bright. You'd meet someone at the beach or the party or through friends. You'd spend every day together for 2 weeks, convinced it was love. Then September would come and it would fade. But you'd remember it forever. Canada Day meant fireworks and beer and feeling patriotic in a way that was genuine and uncomplicated. Civic holiday meant one last long weekend before school started again. And Labor Day meant the end, the return to reality, the closing of the best chapter of the year. Close your eyes one more time. It's Saturday night, summer of 1987. You're 17. The car is full of your best friends. The tape deck is playing your favorite song. You're driving nowhere in particular and everywhere all at once. And for this one perfect moment, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Being a teenager in 1980s, Canada gave us something we didn't fully appreciate at the time. Freedom without surveillance, connection without technology, and experiences that were ours alone. No one was filming, no one was posting, no one was performing for an audience. We were just living. The 80s weren't perfect. We made mistakes. We did stupid things. We hurt people and got hurt. But we did it all in real time, in the real world, with real consequences and real rewards. What's your favorite memory of being a teenager in the 80s? The concert that changed your life? The party you'll never forget? The summer that felt like it would never end? Share it in the comments. Let's keep these memories alive. If this video took you back, hit hit that like button and subscribe. Share it with someone who was there, who remembers what it felt like to be young and free in the greatest decade to grow up. Thanks for watching. And remember, the past isn't just nostalgia, it's proof that we lived.